Hello everyone, this is Sona from Dynasty Studios. Here at Dynasty we're working on Providence, the first on-chain multiplayer sci-fi survival shooter. Providence is currently in closed alpha and it is available on Epic Game Store. However, you do need a redeem key, so if you want to join us in this playtest phase, please follow us on Twitter at PlayProvidence, join our Discord server, and we would love to hear your feedback if you do get in. Now, we've had a huge update recently, which is why I figured it was a good time to maybe go through the game and show you guys what's new and talk about what's coming a little bit. But yeah, let's just dive in. Now, when you start, you need to claim a username. And I will just go ahead and do that. This is a test account. I don't even remember which test account this is, but I believe if I do this, it will be a username that doesn't exist, hopefully. And behind the scenes, this is getting registered on a blockchain. It creates a wallet for you. Now let's just choose our body type. Now we will go through the tutorial, but before we do, let me just explain the HUD and the UI elements first. You can see that I have the crosshair. I'm aiming in the world, but I'll just press tab so that you can see my cursor. And we'll cover the inventory later, but now I'm just doing it for the cursor. But yeah, let's start from the top. At the very top, kind of center, we have the compass, and compass is basically it's showing you different points of interest where your teammates might be kind of pinging, which is something you can do by just using the middle mouse button or the scroll button. You can just tap to point to something. You can alternatively hold it down to do more a manual icon so that you can kind of specifically ping something for your teammates. And you can see that they do appear in the compass. But yeah, you would also see the objectives. But it is more useful for when you're playing with teammates, so that you can say, "Hey, I spotted something on East 105," and then they would kind of look there. At the top right, you have the objective notifications, not notification, but the objective panel. You have the big, shall we say, the main objective, which is, find a way off the Slipworld in the story level. And then you also have one where you need to heal. And the objectives would appear on the center, and then you would always find them, the active objective on here on the right hand side. And there's nothing on the bottom right at the moment. We used to have some weapon HUD, but we changed that. So let's go to bottom left. And bottom left, there's a lot going on here. So let's just go through them one by one. The first one is that you can see my cursor. Yes. You see a character icon with the number 1 next to it. That is your respawn times. So this basically says you can only respawn once, which essentially means that if you die, you get to respawn once. If you die again, you will have to leave the Slipworld. So you have limited lives basically. Next to that, you have the strands indicating different colors and how many of them you have. Currently, I have none, so it shows 0. And this is just to show you how many strands of different colors you have. That's so you can see how close you are to a certain color bonus or that sort of thing. More on the color bonuses later. Next to that, we have the Memoria counter. Memoria are these blue orbs you collect in the world, either by killing creatures or just catalyzing the environment, such as plants that have the blue orb around them. And you use the Memoria to to basically get strands. Now, I mentioned strands just before as well. Now, strands, they can drop from chests or elite creatures in the world, or you can buy them from the forge. Especially weapon ability strands and certain like more powerful weapon strands will be available at the forge. But otherwise, the world will provide you with different armor strands and also weapon strands, just not ability strands. Next to that, we have the quick slot hotbar, so that you can, if you have consumables, you can just drag them so that you can just, by pressing 1 through 4, you can just use them quickly. You can also press Z to swap to the other hotbar, so you basically have 8 quick slots to be able to use. On the bottom section, left hand side, you have a colored circle with the number in it. In my case, it's green and says 1. That's because I'm not in a team in this tutorial level, it's just me. So I'm the first in, I'm just the only one, so I'm 1 in the team. And green is my color, and you can kind of see that also by my pings being green. So if I was in a team, my HUD elements would appear green. Basically, I'm the green squad mate in that team, in that squad. Yeah, and the 3 bars, a bit self-explanatory, but let's go through them real quick. The blue one is your shield. You can also see that if you look at your character, every now and then you see a shimmering circle. That is a sphere, I should say. That is your shield. It protects you from damages, so, and it does recharge. So if you do get hit and run away, it will recharge. And yeah, that is your kind of first line of defense before things can impact your health. Right under that is your health bar, which is quite low right now because we are badly wounded. So I need to find a source of healing, which we will in a moment. And right under that is your energy bar, which is currently being used for dashing. Basically, if I press Control, dash around, you cannot jump, dash. So it's very important to dash around to dodge different dangers. And later on, we might actually also add different things to, we might link different things to energy as well, such as, faster sprinting and stuff like that. So it is quite important, but for now, it's just linked to dashing. And I think that covers what you can see in the current HUD. There is more elements, like in the Slipworld, you would also get, at the top right, you would see a Slipworld timer. That's basically the life of that Slipworld, so you would kind of have to pay attention to that and get out before the Slipworld gets destroyed. Otherwise, you would leave empty-handed. And then otherwise, let's just continue with the tutorial and see what else appears. So yes, WASD to move, mouse to look around, and left shift to sprint. And let's see, I can see there's a container. You press E to interact with most things in the world, everything, stations, containers, chests, or everything you have to interact with. E is basically the default interaction button. And then you pick it up. As you can see on the left-hand side, you saw basically a notification of what you just picked up. Let's do it again. And you can also see that it's tapped to open inventory. Once I pick these up, these appear here, so it's just a notification. And you can also interact with the environment to heal. Here's a healing plant we call Amelioralis, and it healed me a little bit. And I think I saw another one over here, so why don't I use that? Instead of spending my healing potions now, might as well just get healed using the plants. So I mentioned the consumables and quick start. Well, I might as well just put them in now so that I can use them. Perfect. So they're ready to be used later. Let's continue. Space to jump and left control to dash. So that was jump. And here we can jump and dash. And here it's a bit more distance. Jump and dash. Yes. But I don't think we can dash to the other side. Let's try. Jump, dash, dash. No. So we fell, but as you noticed, there's no fall damage. So this is intentional. No matter what you try, you should end up down here, and you will be faced with these big rocks. So you need to catalyze these. So let's do that. Let's swap by scrolling up or down to switch to our catalyzer, our tool, and then hold left click to catalyze. Also catalyze this. And as you see, things you catalyze usually drop some resource. So when we say catalyze and harvest, they're all done by your tool, the harvesting tool. So it has multiple names. Sometimes we just call it catalyzer, sometimes harvesting tool, sometimes just tool. Just keep in mind we're referring to the same tool. C to crouch, and just do that. And shift to run faster. So danger is detected ahead. Swap to your weapon using this mouse scroll and left click to shoot and F to melee attack. There we go. And we just killed our first enemy. I guess I can also catalyze this, just like I did with the rocks. Yes, and I got some carbon. Let's switch back to our weapon, and to get over this obstacle, let's crouch again and go through. Yes. So we found an extraction site. Extraction sites are quite crucial in Slipworlds. You would have to use the landing sites or extraction sites to extract items, any resource, blueprint, or artifact you found in the world. And it's also how you depart the Slipworld. And you will want to extract quite frequently because you have limited inventory space. And more importantly, if you die, you drop everything that is in your inventory. So if I open back my inventory, if I was to die right now, I wouldn't lose my armor or my weapon because that's part of my loadout. Those are persistent, they're on me. But I would lose the resources. So iron, carbon, and the consumables would drop wherever I died, and someone could come and pick it up. I will talk about that a little bit more later, but yeah, just keep in mind. And so to secure the resources, you will want to extract so that things will be safely extracted, waiting for you to claim them at orbital cargo. So once you depart, you can claim them. But as I said, you don't have to depart immediately. You can just extract items while remaining in the Slipworld. This is a regrowth chamber. This one is not interactable because it's a tutorial level. But in the Slipworlds, you would want to interact with these two, mark them as a respawn point that you can choose, so that if you die, you would have the option to spawn from that point, which might be closer to your objective or something. Let's deal with these enemies really quick and do our first extraction. So extraction, if you depart, everything in your inventory will obviously come with you. But if you only want to extract while staying in the Slipworld, you need to package your resources. So let's interact with this packaging station. It also explains it in the text there. Let's interact with it and put the iron and the carbon in. Hit package item, escape, and this is our first cargo crate. So I can switch to my tool again, click right click to pick it up, and right click to drop. And if I do left button while I have it, it would throw it. But right click to gently place it. Remember, left to basically shunt it. But we don't want to do that just yet, because it would just go far away. Let's interact with the antenna. And antennas are these big structures with the light, with the blue light at the top. This is quite important to remember, because in the Slipworlds you will be looking for extraction sites, and from far away, these blue lights would be the way to spot them. And as soon as you spot them, you would keep it in mind, because extraction sites are, as I said, are quite important. So let's interact with this by holding down E. And now we have a dropship coming. It's also making a lot of noise, I guess, because it does trigger more creatures. Luckily, the creatures are not that hard to deal with for now. But the dropship is coming. And now the cargo door is open. I can click left to throw it in. I think we're safe for now. No, in about 10 seconds, the dropship will close its cargo door and take off. Normally, it would open the doors for me to board as well, but in this tutorial section, we're only doing the first part, which is just taking the cargo and leaving. And now we can just see it take off. And now my resources, the iron and I believe it was carbon, are now secured in the orbital cargo. And you can see this in the inventory UI. Let's open the inventory again. And I realized I didn't go through inventory properly. Let's do that now. So you can see it's a mixture of character screen and inventory. And this would actually look different in the Homestead, but we'll get there in a moment. So yeah, you can see there are 3 tabs here. We have the inventory that we can scroll and see what you have currently in your inventory. We don't have much. Obviously, we had a couple of resources which I just extracted. We have the consumables I picked up, no deployables, no blueprints. Then you see these tabs. There's an extracted items tab, and it does show what I have in the orbital cargo. So these are secure. These are going to be available for me to claim. Not just me, but my party members, my squad mates as well. In the tutorial level, it's just me, so it's only for me to pick up. But yes, and then there's also track recipes, which is something you can do in the Homestead. So if you have a recipe, a blueprint that requires a bunch of resources, and you want to collect those resources, you can track it so that it shows what you need to find in the Slipworlds. Continuing on the inventory, so yes, you have your loadout. You can see your armor pieces. If you hover over them in the tooltip, you can see what they give. In this case, the Nana suit is giving 3 health, and it has 1 strand slot. So this is pretty self-explanatory. There's a weapon. We have a worn kinetic carbine rifle, which has 2 weapon strands. One of them is an ability strand, and the other one is a normal one. You can see it here. The big one is ability one. It's not something we'll have in the tutorial level, but we'll talk about it more in the actual Slipworlds. And then you have your stats of your loadout. So these, when all combined, are giving you these stats. And that's the inventory screen. Now let's continue with our tutorial level. Now we did the first kind of main objective of the tutorial level, which was extracting, and that did unlock this gate. So let's just continue with the second phase of the tutorial. The second phase of the tutorial is, as it says on the objective, we need to find a resource bundle. And we need to extract and depart to complete the tutorial. So let's find that. Oh, I think a floof just walked into a night room. Night rooms are these explosive plants. They're pretty easy to spot. If you see one, you'll see what I mean. But let's continue with the tutorial level. So E to interact, and again E to equip the strand. So this, I believe this was our first strand, right? Yes. So you can see that it automatically slotted into the bodysuit. So now it gives us 25 max energy. The strands are not something you have to micromanage too much. They just automatically slot in. You have armor strands, weapon strands, and weapon ability strands. Keep those in mind, but that's it. It makes no difference whether this is on bodysuit or helmet. They're not they're not specific to an individual piece. Let's just continue. Here's the nitro I was talking about. These are explosive. You can pick them up or just shoot from distance, and it can damage things around it as well. Let's go further ahead. And let me just show you also if you can able to pick this up. And maybe I can throw it at this loop. Yeah, it's another way of using your environment to your advantage. But yeah, perhaps it's a good time to mention that in Providence there is no ammo limitation. The ammo automatically recharges and it's infinite. But obviously, if you hit 0, it will take a while to recharge. So keep that in mind. And different weapon categories have different reload speed and things of that nature. Let's continue. Another chest, another strand. Is a red one, which is usually about power. This one gives me 10% more weapon power. And here you can see just a small alien structure on a pedestal. And if I interact with this, if I pay 250 memoria, it would give me a weapon power strand. You can see here I only have 70 memoria, so I cannot afford this yet. And it's not something that is essential in the tutorial level, so I'm not going to bother getting memoria to purchase that, but those could be quite handy at the actual Slipworlds. Here's another strand, and that gave me more, that added to my maximum health. And now let us continue and find the resource bundle. Now, obviously, I know where the bundle is because I played through this tutorial level quite a few times. So I'm not exploring a lot. I'm just finding it pretty quickly. Here's an armored floof that is kind of guarding the path ahead. And here we see the resource bundle. Here we also see something, and that is the blood fungus. Let's just pick up the bundle and explain what blood fungus is. So blood fungus is what grows when you die. Basically, your corpse turns into a blood fungus. What does that mean? Everything in your inventory you lose when you die, which I explained before, but it's not immediately ready to be picked up by anyone just yet. It's contained within the blood fungus, so you have to catalyze the fungus to see the loot, and then you can just pick it up. Obviously, this is tutorial level, so it's just an example. It's not an actual player's blood fungus, but let's catalyze this by holding down the left mouse button. And you can see that it dropped a lot of loot. Iron, carbon fiber. And yeah, so if you spot blood fungus in the Slipworld, it means someone died there, and it probably contains some loot, so you might want to catalyze it to loot. And it applies to your blood fungus as well. Your items, your inventory, everything you had will be inside it, and it will be safe, so you can see it in the compass and kind of run towards it to pick it back up, hopefully before anyone else. If it disappears from the compass, then you know that someone catalyzed and picked it up. So just so you know how it works. Now let's continue with this resource bundle. Let's go through here. Now this bundle is a heavy item. I have to use my gravity gun to pick it up and take with me. And while I'm carrying a heavy item, I'm quite limited in what I can do. I cannot use my weapon, and I cannot sprint. But I can jump and dash, so that's quite helpful. And I can also just shunt it away and then kind of run faster for a while. And this is also how you would get it over certain obstacles, such as this. I can just throw it out there. Now, obviously, now it's quite easy because it's just me, but it would be in your interest to have some teammates to protect you while you're doing these things. Kind of like an escort mission. And you wouldn't want to throw something valuable around like this when you have other players around, because it's a PvP-enabled environment. You might, you might lose it to someone else. But we're safe now. It's a tutorial level. It's just us. Let's interact with the dropship again, which did trigger more creatures. Well, we know how to deal with these by now, although that one is quite strong. So as long as you keep your distance, these are okay to handle. Again, switch to your tool, right click to pick it up, left to throw it in. Pretty straightforward. And the doors won't open immediately. You can see the notification says boarding in 25 seconds. So you just need to survive the wave of creatures and other players in a normal Slipworld, but not here. But we are almost out of here. And now I believe the doors will open. And now I can board as well. And we're ready to leave. And this concludes the tutorial level. Now we will see the part screen where you get to claim the items. And obviously this is tutorial level, so what we show may not be exactly one-to-one with what you collected, because we give you the starting set that you need to get things going in the homestead. So it's a fixed set of items and resources. So it's not, as I said, one-to-one. For example, I didn't pick up any blueprints, but I do have an Imperial helmet blueprint, a kinetic blaster, and a carbine blueprint. And these will be used in the kind of the first parts of tutorialization once we are at the homestead. We'll just pick these up one by one. And yeah, now we get to claim these and go to our homestead. Now let's connect to a homestead server, and this will be our basic empty homestead. And here we are.